With that being said, I would like to invite Mr. Martin Main to please come up and to do us the honor of christening the new quad. Following which, I'd like to invite Michelle Kirby to come up to christen our new 8. And if Mr. Chris Midland can also be upstanding and stand with us while the boats are being christened as the founding member of JP Boats and Blaze, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Well, morning all. It gives me great pleasure to be welcomed here. It really is a milestone in my life to be welcomed back here on an idea that struck Dr. Tomlinson. I'll explain to you in a minute. Whilst I was coxing on Wemapan, must have been in 1957, 56, as a junior. Rowing was unheard of in the Transvaal by then, except in Germiston had sporadic crews here, but nothing formalized. Anyway, one day he said to me, come, I'm rowing on Wemapan with my colleague friend of his, and we need somebody to cox the boat. So off I went, and I was cocking the boat. Himself, Dr. Tomlinson was a Jeffy old boy, got his full colours for rugby in 1938. And so Jeffy was always prime in his mind. He said to me, Martin, he's my godfather as well, and my uncle married to my mom's sister. And he wisely said, go and get a JP crew together, and go and get some of your boyfriend, your friends and the boys, and start a rowing club. So I found 5 guys. Probably they were no good at rugby, no good at cricket. They probably had the longest hair, and we formed the rowing club. I joke not, we were good guys. Anyway, Doon, as I call him, Tomlinson, begged, borrowed and stole boats from all over the place, Wits University and whatnot. And we rowed in a few junior races here, and then said, the SA Champs are being held in East London. Very strong in rowing. There's no rowing up here to speak up for juniors. And the SA Champs were manned in by Dale, Bishops, Selborne, and 1 or 2 other public schools and private schools there. So off we went. My mother was the driver of an old Vanguard motor car. I told the story to some of the parents before, but just for the youngsters, for the record. Old Vanguard, terribly shaped car, which we nicknamed the Pregnant Prawn. And this took us to East London with a clinker 4, not even carvel, clinker, tied to the roof carrier my father made. Anyway, we rode at East London, Buffalo Regatta, came second to Selborne, which is quite a good feat. Came back over the weekend, and this is the funny part of it. Afrikaans lesson on a Monday morning, and our teacher was Mr. David. Myn, hoe kom slaap jy? Waar was jy hierdie naweek? Where were you? What you been doing this weekend? Ek was in East London, meneer. Wat doen jy daar? Ons het gerooi. Wat swaat jy? Wat gerooi? Wat is hierdie gerooi besigheid? What's going on in this? What are you talking about? Anyway, cut long story short, he asked me where we came, and I came, ons het tweede klas gekom. I said, no, second class. I meant to say first, but such an Afrikaans, eerste plek, tweede plek. This went to the headmaster eventually, and next thing the headmaster said, what's going on here? And that was the start of JP Rowing. We formed, we had a colours committee, and we handed out colours, and that was the first JP crew. I'm happy to say also, I have a successor here, Joopie van Onskoten, somewhere in the audience. Show us how we are here. Yep, he was number 2 after me. It's pleasant to have him here. Thanks, Joopie, for coming. Okay, back to Dr. Tomlinson. His proper name is John Reuben Dakin Tomlinson. He was a doctor in Kensington, where our family came from, and he became the first rowing coach. He took us to Wemapan, all the lessons in 1959, where we eventually handed over to Joopie and his crew, and they did very well as well after that, very well. So it gives me great pleasure to name a boat after my uncle. He was a mentor to me, he was a father to me, he did a lot for me. Besides just being initiated to rowing, he instilled in me all the disciplines of rowing that you heard enumerated just now by my friend Nadine here, from Nadine to Simon. Rowing, guys, is a sport you'll never forget. You might forget, you certainly won't forget the blisters you get when you put your hand in methylated spirits after your first weekend of rowing. I don't know if that's still allowed, but that's the way we had it brought up. 13-year-old come along to rowing camp, do first day's rowing camp with handless. Oh, that's nothing. In the method of spirits. Fine, don't cry. Rowing tomorrow. Thanks. True story. Ask Yopi. Ask my two sons, Colin and Brian, also here. They had the same treatment. And maybe even my grandsons also here, Luke and Matthew. I don't know if they put their hand up. Luke, show us where you are. Yeah, maybe he's a JP oarsman too one day. Anyway, without much further ado, I'd like to do the ceremony of launching JRD Tomlinson into the JP fraternity using the spirit of JP to see how that boat wins fair races, does a fair amount of character building for the people, and above all, maintains the JP spirit. Remember, guys, 40 New Hill Difficilias. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Main. If we can invite Michelle to come assist with the 8 christening.
Okay guys, so from the very first JP fundraising event that I had the privilege of arranging 5 years ago, it was always a dream of ours to buy JP an 8. When we, Chris and Greg and myself started this project, I honestly was not convinced that we'd reach this goal in my lifetime as a JP rowing mom. Thanks to my amazing son Dylan, he set up an awesome website, and along with Chris's tremendous skills, he created newsletters and videos. Sorry, I'm battling to see my words here now. I've got one. Sorry, Thomas and Dylan. Okay, what's that? Fascinating videos and stories from our amazing JP oarsmen from 1958 till now. While Greg, overseas, and Falkard, our chairman, made sure that our Facebook was kept up to date, we were set with all the tools that we needed to communicate far and wide with JP old boys all over the world. The support and generosity of this remarkable old boy community. And when they said the brotherhood, I was like, yo, whatever. But I can't believe what I've got to know and meet through this journey and these old boys. Thank you, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Gittins, and our absolutely precious JP rowing family. Despite the arrival of COVID, which coincided with the launch of JP Boats and Blades, it was clear that we were going to meet this objective. The deposit was paid in June, and then the discussions turned to the naming of the boat. And in keeping with tradition of naming boats after blades, the name Damascus was agreed. The reason, I'm going to read this part because this is Chris's very clever fancy words. The reason for the name is that Damascus steel was the forged steel of blades of swords, smithed in the Near East from ingots of wood steel, imported from southern India. These swords are characterized by distinctive patterns of banding and mottling, reminiscent of flowing water, or in a ladder or teardrop pattern. Such blades were reputed to be tough, resistant to shattering, and capable of being honed to a sharp, resilient edge. Chris Midland connects the name with JP in that Damascus steel is forged in layers with various other alloys to make it unique, just like the JP old boys and parents, a variety of individuals pitching together to fund the boat, each unique in their own way. On behalf of JP Boats and Blades, we wish our future JP oarsmen, especially the boys that will row in the 8, many miles of exceptional rowing. in this beautiful boat. And we look forward to reading all about your achievements and the medals that you're going to bring home to us in 2021 and 2022 season. As part of the christening, I'll be including fresh green leaves, which has been used for several years in boat christening. It symbolizes safe returns, and that's what we pray for each time our boys are on the water with Damascus, while the champagne is a symbol of offerings to the water gods. Thank you very much for this privilege and honor bestowed on me and the boys from JBB to formally christen Damascus.